Welcome everyone. I'm Jen Seal. I want to welcome you to today's practice. Today, it is cold where I am right now, and so yoga in itself, the essence of yoga brings in this like inner warmth, just with the breath and the movements. But in yoga, there's a word called tapas, and it's not the kind of appetizer, tapas, those fun little appetizer bites. Tapas in yoga means inner fire, okay? Inner fire or heat. And we cultivate this inner fire with our breath and with, again, the postures on the mat. Both together work to sort of create this fire for transformation. So it's a way of kind of cleansing and detoxifying our inner body with our practice. So it's kind of cool. I like the word tapas. It also means it's a discipline. Like if you were to start a fire, a regular fire, right? You need a spark first, and then you have to continue to fuel this fire for it to continue to burn. So that's the essence of yoga as well. Suggested that, you don't just come to your mat every once in a while, but maintain a consistent practice over time. And with the breath and the movement, you continue to just kind of flush out these impurities that you may feel in the body, toxicity, negative emotions, and the same thing with the mind. It's kind of like a practice for the mind as well, like mind floss, right? We get in there, we see what's happening, and we try to flush out the stuff that really isn't serving our higher self. So, okay. What I'd like to do is have you come to a comfortable seat. I am on a block right now. Cross your legs in any way that feels right for you. Make sure that your hips are elevated above your knees. Okay, that's why I always suggest, a lot of us who fold into ourselves, this is not good for breathing. It's okay if you're tight, especially, my guy friends out there. Guy friends are really tight. They look like this. Some of my, ladies out there too, right? But, you want to either put something underneath there to support yourself or move your legs forward, whatever you can do to get a nice little inner thigh stretch here, okay? I'm going to bring my ankles in front of one another, drop my knees down towards the mat, and I have open hips, so this is easy for me, but it may not look like this for you. So just get comfortable. So because we're looking to cultivate like this inner sense of heat, right? I want you to place your palms, your right palm on top of your left, and touch your thumbs together. And you just place that in your lap. This is called a Dhyana Mudra. Dhyana means meditation. And so when we are looking at cultivating, right, a deeper sense of ourselves within ourselves, this is a nice way just to keep that energy kind of, connected, all of our energies connected together, and keep it within. Okay, so it's a nice mudra to practice. And a practice becoming still. So the other thing I want to suggest is that when we cultivate inner fire, when we want to try to keep that heat in, closing the mouth and drawing the breath in and out through the nose is the best practice. Okay, we call this Ujayi Pranayama breath. It's sometimes linked with diaphragmatic breath. So we really want to try to draw the breath in through the nose, the back of the throat, into our lungs. And as the lungs fill fully, right, it expands our whole body. So we expand outward. So what we're not trying to do is like breathe just into the chest. We really want to breathe down deep here and then allow the breath to move from the belly to the mid-chest, up into the collarbones. You just feel the sensation of bigness, right? And then you exhale back in, you hug back in, right? Inhaling, expanding, exhaling. I like to say we're hugging back into your core, like hugging back in, like you're giving yourself a little hug with your breath, okay? So the mind can sometimes wander here. So as you're beginning to just get into your seat, maybe take a little bit of movement side to side, or maybe move your head, your ear to one shoulder, take a couple of head rolls. Whatever feels right for you, just begin to come into that into your space. Shrug the shoulders up and back, and down, and just come into some stillness again. Take that hands to your lap, and just begin to breathe normally, just for a moment or two. Just check in with your body, check in with your mind. And just feel what's there. Feel for tension, feel for stress, feel for whatever's there. And begin to soften in, soften the face. So start with the crown of the head, soften down all the way. All the way down. In the core center of the body, down the arms, down into the hips, down the legs, into the toes. You need to close the mouth and begin to draw the breath into the nose. Flare the nostrils outward. And feel the expansion. You can now feel that. You can use your core to subtly draw your breath back in towards the center. And flush all the air out of your lungs. You can imagine this breath is like a bellows. As you breathe in, you're drawing in nice fresh oxygen. And as you're breathing out, right, you're stoking that inner fire. You're breathing out impurities, breathing out toxicity. If you want, you can make your breath audible. Like you're fogging a mirror. It's that kind of gentle forcefulness in the back of your throat. Just take a couple more breaths here. One more. Where can you release? And gently bring the palms together now to your heart space, thumbs to your sternum, bow your chin to your chest. Set an intention for your practice today. So it's cultivating a way of being, something you want to bring forth to your practice, to your day, maybe towards your evening. Could be kindness towards yourself, patience, determination, whatever it is you got going on. You want to put, your best foot forward here. Courage. Good. And slowly open the eyes. Bring the palms down. Take the hands back, clasp them behind you, knuckles down towards the floor. And really broaden across the chest and collarbones. Feel free to lift the chin up away from the chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades together on the back. So here you might feel the chest really opening up, right? Can't really draw the breath down into the belly very much. So just notice where it goes. Notice where the breath goes here. And release. Just gently take it over to the left. And to the right. Keep your sitting bones pressing down to the mat. And just feel a stretch across the whole side of your body. Turning, twisting over your left shoulder. To the other side. And back to center. Take a block or bolster out or whatever you have underneath. You keep your blocks to the front of your mat. We'll use them later. And then just turn onto your knees and shins. Taps the feet press down. And you can take your hands either to your waist, kind of like draw back the thumbs towards one another, or you could just clasp your hands behind your back and just gently lift up. Sternum up toward the ceiling, like you're lifting, you've got a little string lifting up. You can look up and then again, push those hips forward, gently forward. And back down, knees wide, child's pose. So you can bring your palms forward and flat down on the mat. Forearms come down, forehead comes down to the mat or onto a block. Your forehead's not touching anything. You don't want it hovering there and, straining your neck. So make sure your forehead's touching something. Hips work back towards the heels. They don't have to touch. And take a couple moments to breathe into the back body. Again, feel the expansion as you breathe in and out. Again, keeping the mouth closed if that feels good for you. And then slowly come back up. Place your hands underneath your shoulders, a couple rounds of cat-cow. Just awaken the spine. Really draw the belly towards your spine on that exhale. Inhale, feel the breath, follow it all the way up to the top. And exhale all the way to the bottom. You really want to push all the air out of your lungs. You don't want stale air in there because then we don't have room for a full, big, deep breath in. One more. Sink back, just shake your wrists out. You can rotate them around. You can take them together and roll them around. Right? All right. So the sun salutations in and of themselves are a warming sequence. They're meant to warm up the body. They're, you could just do sun salutations if you don't have a lot of time, right? Bang out 5 to 10 salutations, you'll be ready to go. I'm going to show you some modified salutations, so we're not going to be coming up standing since this is a gentler practice today. Okay, but you can still get that inner heat by using your breath as you flow through the process. So just stay connected to your breath here as much as possible. You can start, again, it's a gentle practice, so you're very welcome, right, to just keep your knees on the floor. I'm gonna lift my knees. I'll modify this first one. Okay, so basically your knees are up, you just drop your knees down. And then inhale here, look forward, exhale, hug the elbows in by your sides. Come all the way down, flatten down, toes down, lift up, gentle cobra. You're using the muscles in your back to lift, not your hands. So be careful. You can lift your hands up. You should be able to lift your hands up. Come back down, exhale, curl the toes under. Choice number 2 or 1 or 2 here is to come back to modified child's pose. If that feels good for you. Or lift up to your downward facing dog pose. Feet might go a little wider. You can pedal your feet. You can really wag your tail here. Neck is heavy. So just 2 to 3 breaths here in our down dog or modified child's pose. And we're going to float forward. Okay. And lower down again. So now I'm going to keep my knees lifted and lower down nice and slow with my breath. Finish the exhale here. Roll up. Again, use your muscles of your back and head goes back. Exhale. Press up. Use those arms. And downward dog or modified child pose. If you're in down dog, try to press those heels down towards the mat. They don't have to touch. Feet can be closer together or apart. Again, hands, look at your hands. Make sure they're in alignment and that they're also slightly wider than your shoulders. Come forward. Inhale. Exhaling on the way down. So if you're in full plank pose, this might be really challenging, but it's building strength in your arms. Roll up cobra. Exhale, push up and back. Downward dog. Just 2 more of these. Really warming up. So find the flow of your breath. I'm talking, so I'm not breathing with you. Flow forward, inhale. Lower down, exhale. Roll up, inhale. Exhale, up and back, down dog or modified child's pose. Breathe here, 2 breaths. You bend the knees, draw your belly to your thighs, shoulders away from the ears. 1 more breath. And come forward, inhale. Lower down, exhale. Roll up, cobra. And up and back, down dog. You can feel the strength in your arms. So if you're in modified, if you could come to down dog, please do that. Lift our right leg up. If not, you can come on your forearms. Open the hips. Rotate the ankle around while you're there again. Let the head be heavy. Look back towards your toes. Left heel down towards the mat. Good. Square the hips, and then you can step right forward to your right thumb. So you might have to come halfway. Step it there. Bring your back knee down. Soften the back toe. Climb up. adjust the clothes accordingly. Now I have my hands on top of each other, so I can kind of drive my knee forward, but you still want to be like pulling the belly away from your thigh just a little bit. Sink into that left hip. Shoulders are relaxed. You can look up towards the ceiling. Just feel the left hip opening. And you're still breathing here. So if you have any tension in your lower back, peel back just a little bit and pull up, okay? And if you have blocks with you today, you can always take them and bring them by your sides and just straighten that front leg. It might not straighten all the way. Mine's not straight. Or drop your fingers, your fingertips down onto the mat. I like to actually try to pull my chest forward here and look forward, but you're definitely welcome to also bow and hinge forward if that feels nice for your lower back. But then walk your hands forward and take your right hand inside your right foot. I want you to toe heel your right toe out. And then again, hinging forward, but you're turning that right knee outward. Okay, so from the front, your knee is still over your ankle, but you're turning it outward. Okay, so your option here is to place your palm on the mat or turn towards your right knee. Okay, this is totally an option. You could also curl the back toe under and lift the knee off the mat a lot deeper. Okay, a lot more intense. Or you can keep your chest forward and come onto your forearms. Okay, lizard pose, super hippy dippy. So you can come onto one forearm, you can come onto both. You can stack your blocks on top of each other. Now what I like to do is I really like to stay up because I feel like it gives me leverage to be able to use my hand to open up that knee. Okay, I'm gonna come back to here. Remember, you want that knee over your ankle, okay? Some people like to bend the back knee and grab the foot. It's super intense as well, so don't do this if this is not happy for your front thigh. I'm barely grabbing my heel right now. Just take one more full breath here. Not a super long practice, but just one where we want to ignite the breath, the fire within, and just keep cultivating it by moving with the breath, by being in the pose and breathing into these poses. Slowly draw it back, and I want you to walk it over into regular pigeon pose, okay? So you bring that right foot to the left wrist, hands go forward, and drop the right knee forward. Now look back at your toes, look over your shoulders. Make sure your toes, your ankle is directly extended from the hip. And if this is hurtful at all in here, too much, then jam something under there to support yourself, okay? You could also just hinge over onto that right side. Just lean into it if you need to. Okay, you can do that. It takes away the stretch a little bit. And again, you can come forward. Now I'm going to say about a minute here, so I'm going to time us. I think there's something like a 40-second rule. I'll look into this, but I feel like I remember that if you're in a pose or anything in a stretch for a short duration of time, your body is going to continue to kind of restrict to protect you. After you get, I think it's like the 40-second mark though, it starts to forget that you want to stretch, and it just sort of starts releasing slowly. That's why the longer holds, the longer you hold some poses, the deeper the stretch and the more open you're going to feel. So pigeon's usually held for 2 to 3 minutes. Because we don't have a lot of time, we're going beyond the 40 seconds, but we're not going to the extent that you could, so certainly after practice, you can go back into pigeon and stay there for a little while. Okay, we talked all the way through that side. Bring your hands down. For those of you that know me, this is just what I do. Curl the toes under, come forward, and slowly take it back. Just pause. Ooh, you're gonna feel a difference there. Move your hips a little side to side. You maybe slink. You can come into, cat cow if you need to. And come to down dog again. You're gonna feel a big difference between one side and the other, right? Lift your left leg up, bend the knee, open the hip. Keep your palms pressing down into the mat firmly. Rotate the ankle around one way to the other. Let the neck, shake the head a little bit. Extend the left leg back behind you, square those hips. And draw that left foot all the way forward. Drop the back knee down. Climb up onto that left side. And again, bending deeply. Your knee is over your ankle. Look at it. Make sure it's there. And you want to know that there's an angle down, right? So you don't want to be here. Not today. Forward. I'm putting my palms on top of each other today, but again, you could reach your arms up. You could bring your arms back behind you, but just be careful when we do this. We kind of pin, it impinges the lower back at times. If we're not careful. Again, you can look up. Your belly is, you're still engaging your core, okay? And you're still firing up that breath. So I want you to think of that. You have this little internal light in your heart, and every time you breathe in, you're massaging your heart, and you're stoking that fire. Tapas, tapas, tapas. Heat and inner fire for transformation. Awesome stuff. All right, slowly drop back again. You can use those blocks to support yourself if your fingers don't touch. And you can see my rounded back here if I hinge forward. So if that doesn't feel good, again, look forward, straighten your spine. Same stretch. Toes can be towards your shins if you want to get a little action in your calves here. And if you're finding that the breath is hard to just stick with, you can refer to like the 4-part breath. Breathing in for 4, hold the breath for 2, breathe out for 4. So if your mind is going crazy wonky, monkey mindish today, then that might be helpful with these longer poses that we hold. All right, come forward. As with lizard and pigeon, our brain starts to go other places. So I just gave you something else to do instead of making a grocery list. So left hand inside of the left foot, toe heel, turn your left toes out toward the corner of your mat. Walk the foot maybe a little bit wider and let the knee fall open. So it's almost like your foot's like a clam. You're coming onto the knife edge of the left foot, hinging forward. Again, I stay here. Shoulder underneath, wrist under shoulder, and I turn towards that left knee. That feels good for me, okay? Lots of people find a deeper expression of this by coming out of their forearms. For me, that's sometimes a little too deep, so I put blocks underneath my shoulders. And then I come down onto my blocks. That feels better. Without blocks is super duper intense. Make it work for you. No, don't run away from a pose. Okay? You want to feel something. Notice what's stretching. Notice where you're resisting. Ooh, this side's so much more intense for me than the other side. Keep breathing into it, my friends. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Come up. The blocks out. Walk, toe heel the foot over to the right wrist. Drop it forward. You might have to lift your thigh. Press the top of the foot down, lift the thigh, and send the foot back as far back as it can go, right? Make sure your foot is not sickling in. So top of the foot is pressing down, pointing back. And then take it into your expression here again. Maybe you roll over onto the left cheek. Maybe you stick a block under there for support. And maybe onto the forearms, maybe stacking your fists on top of each other. Anything that you can do so that you're not bringing any tension in the upper body, okay? And just bring the awareness to that hip. I'll stop talking on this side. How's that? Just feel what you feel. Okay. Just take another breath here. Just I'm going to transition out of this. So take a breath in. Slowly coming back onto the hands. You're coming onto the left glute. Slowly push yourself forward. Take out foot. Put your blocks back up to the top of your mat and back into that beautiful down dog. Wag the tail. Take the feet really wide on your mat. Really wide like a down dog. Take your hands a little wider as well. Come forward to a high plank. Okay, I just want you to drop, push into your hands, drop your hips down. If you need to, bring your knees down and just look up. And then hinge back into that down dog. Push the heels down. Again, come forward. Drop the hips. Maybe knees down, shoulders pressed down, and your shoulders are down away from the ears. And then again, back to that wide down dog. One more, come forward. So it's just like a modified up dog because your toes are still curled under. And downward facing dog. Bring your feet back closer together. Look forward to the top of your mat. Walk forward. Feet are wide, hip width. You can bring your elbows to your knees and let your head fall heavy. That's one way. Or you can come into full ragdoll pose, grabbing elbow to elbow, maybe even letting your arms just flop down towards the floor like a gorilla. Move a little forward and back, lift your toes, move a little side to side. Whatever movement feels good for you, your head is heavy. Okay, then bring your feet closer together, like one fist width apart from each other. Your blocks are by your sides. Bend your knees and just come halfway. And just look forward so you can just sort of give your head a little head rush there. I want you to take your block to the highest setting. Place it about 6 inches from your right foot. I want you to bend your right knee, straighten the left leg, and take both hands onto the block. You're going to feel this in your outer hip like no tomorrow. Oh my gosh. If you're a runner, cyclist, do any kind of activity, hiking, walking, and you feel it in the hips, this is a good one to do. We're not really bowing forward on this one, so just try to keep your spine nice and straight. And then gently bend both knees, walk your block over to the left side, about 6 inches from your left foot. Now you're going to bend the left knee and push into your right foot. Try not to lock the leg out, but the right leg is mostly straight. And just continue to look over your left shoulder. You're going to feel it right up the side here. Go all the way maybe to the side body towards your outer shoulder. Back down to the outer hip, to the outer part of your knee. Keep your feet pressing down. Take one more breath. Slowly back to center, block down, halfway lift, and fold. And then rise all the way up. Take a tiny, tiny, tiny little back bend. Lift up out of the hips. Exhale, hands to heart. Good. One little standing side body stretch here, okay? So your choice, you could just stand with your feet pressing down. You're just gonna lift our right arm up, left fingertips down, or you could cross your right foot over your left. Okay, higher intensity here would be to have your left hand grab your right wrist and draw it long, 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 long. Try not to drop your right shoulder down. This is so intense. Oh my goodness. Come back to center. Again, left hand up, right fingertips down. You can cross your left foot over your right and extend. Now I feel this. I feel this, okay? But grabbing my left wrist with my right hand, I feel it even more. Okay, so I'm kind of using my hand as a prop. It's amazing how deep you can get when you just add a little bit more pressure. And roll those shoulders, uncross the legs. Take them just a little wider than hip width. Turn the toes out, okay? You might have to adjust them here. We're gonna come into goddess pose. So just hinge down. So yeah, I've got to go wider. So 3 feet apart. Your knees over your ankles. Feel the inner thighs. You take your hands, your thighs, push them back. Spine is nice and straight. We're gonna move with these. Take a right arm on your left to eagle arms, or you could just hug yourself. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, stay there. Okay, I'll hug myself today. So you sink down and lift up, breathe in, okay? Exhale. Squeeze the glutes, lift up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And one more. Exhale. And release. Open the arms. Left arm under right this time, so opposite hand, opposite arm. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, just fire these. Exhale, hitting the inner thighs. And glutes working out. Awesome. One more. Ooh, unfold, arms out. Kick the heels outward now. You can take the hands to the back of your waist or clasp your hands together and just slowly hinge forward. Release those hands down to the mat. Let the head dangle heavy. Well, this feels good. What I'd really rather do. So keep your fingertips on the mat and look forward, or right onto a block. Just want you to hinge to the right. So you take the block with you if you'd like. Now this is an intense stretch here. If you can feel feet to bend all the way. If you've got the flexibility in your knee, this way you'll feel it in the, like a little different. Toe can be up or pushing forward. Whatever, wherever you're at, right? And if you need to move side to side just to sort of not feel super tense there, or you can come down again. So lots of, when we get that inner fire going, like with the salutations, right? The more the better. It gets that inner fire going. And that fire goes into the belly of our muscles, okay, so they can move more pliably. And when we add these longer hip opening processes, we're able to go a little deeper. So inner fire is good. Turn up your heat, man. Then really generate some inner heat. All right, one more each side. Woo! Hippy dippy. All right, slowly come to center. Bring your feet a little closer together. Bring your hands to your hips. And slowly rise. Again, one more. Bring the feet together. Reach it up. Exhale, hands to heart. Right, come down onto the mat. Take a block with you. You know, I love these at-home yoga classes where your phone rings, right? Trying to just keep myself timed here. All right. So reach the arms back. Exhale, knees hug into your chest. Feet onto the mat. I'm going to suggest today, since we're sort of kind of, focusing a little bit on the hips today, is you can come up to bridge pose, right? So we begin by pushing the feet into the mat. Feet are hip width apart. Heels are towards your buttocks. You can push your feet into the floor, engage your glutes, lift the hips up. We have to lift the hips up anyway, right? Chin towards chest. You can stay here. Feel free to stay here. Nothing wrong with this. But I'm going to take my block. I'm going to put it underneath me. And I'm going to turn it up to the middle setting because that's what feels good for me. But start low. So it's wide underneath there, right? And then go, it's at the sacrum, okay? It's not at my lower back. It's not in the curve of the lower back at all. It's down farther, but not to my tailbone. You can extend your legs forward if you want. I like to bring my hands to my hips because there's warmth there, and I feel my hands have warmth, my hips have warmth, and I'm just sort of like revitalizing this area with my hands. Okay, the warmth and energy of my hands. Energy's fire, right? And here, keep breathing. Maybe do that 4-part breath here. Deeply breathe into the chest, the belly, the hips. Relax the shoulders, relax the face, relax the jaw. We'll take one more nice full breath here. Begin to bend the knees. Slowly do this. Slowly push into your feet, lift the hips up. And from the top of your spine, pull the belly button towards your spine and go from the upper back to your middle back to your lower back, all the way down to your sacrum. Okay, take your feet wide, as wide as your mat. Drop your knees to the right side. And if it feels right for you, if you want to get deep into that psoas muscle, right, deep hip flexor, you can take your right foot on top of your left knee and draw it down towards the floor. Make sure it's comfortable for you. You need to place something underneath that right knee. I have socks on, so I'm slipping on my pants. So if that's the case and you're slipping and you feel like you're resisting, then just come out of it or go deeper into it. You know what I mean? Like, find what works for you. You can always just take your feet, separate them, and then take them back and do the same thing on the other side. Just drop your knees. Maybe take that left foot on top of your right knee just to deepen the posture a little bit. So again, it's targeting that deep inner hip flexor muscle, the psoas. It's really far in there, really hard to get to, but don't stretch out the psoas. We can have a shortened stride. We're going to feel off balance. So this is a really nice one for that. And release. Again, reach your arms back, toes forward, nice big long stretch, and then come right into knees into chest. Just hug them in and roll side to side. Let's just give your back a little massage, give your spine a little massage, and then come into happy baby pose. So 3 different ways. Outer edges of the feet, grab them, knees are wide. Inner edges of the feet, for some people, they like that. Or lately, ankles, you can grab ankles and draw your elbows to the inner parts of your knees. Rock as much as you'd like, side to side. Make sure you're pushing the tailbone down towards the floor. So if I had my toes kind of underneath you, right, you're not lifted up like that. You're pushing down towards the floor, okay? So keep a hold of your right ankle and then extend, either put the foot on the mat, the left foot on the floor, or extend it all the way forward, okay? Again, a left hand can go on your hip or left arm can go overhead. So this is a little bit impinging from my left shoulder for me today, so I'm going to stick with my left hand on my left hip. Again, opening a little bit more control if you grab the outer edge of your foot if you can. And, a strap can also help here as well. I didn't ask you to bring a strap today though, but anyway, ankle or outer part of your foot. Before you bend the left knee, I want you to just cross your right leg over your left, like you're sitting in a chair. So hug it in and then take it over to the left side. This again might be a little intense, so you can take a block and put them underneath the knee if it doesn't touch the ground. These are all deep hip openers, guys. So breathe into them. You're trying to just sort of get out some of that stuck tension and energy that, maybe some negativity that's there. Emotions live in our hips. So Once we start to massage the stuff out, right, it needs a place to go. So make sure you're breathing. Okay, make sure that you're exhaling and you're drawing your mind's awareness, okay, to that concept of flushing out toxins. Right? Back to center. Legs go forward to shake them out. Again, happy baby pose. Left side this time, right? So we hold on to our left ankle and our right foot extends forward. So this feels okay for me to reach my right arm back overhead. This is just getting long in one side of the body, but you can certainly, again, bring your hand to your hip. Grab outer edge of your foot or the ankle. Draw your left knee. So your elbow's inside that knee. Super intense. Just notice what you feel. Notice where you feel. Bend the right knee. Cross the legs. Take a breath in. We always breathe in before we breathe out into a posture. So breathing in to prepare, exhaling into the posture. Using my hand on my knee to just sort of kind of gently guide it to, the deepest expression that's comfortable for me, but make sure your shoulders are relaxed, your belly's relaxed. This is not supposed to be holding on to anything here. More of a relaxation pose. And this twisting, again, like rinsing a towel, right? Cleansing and rinsing out those impurities. Take one more nice breath here. And remember, with that exhale, flush it out. Draw the knees in. It's not just in yoga, though. This is where we practice this stuff, right? But you can breathe outside of your yoga space, off your mat, into the world, off your mat, right? When you need this breath, it's always there for you. You can always take a moment just to cleanse yourself with your breath, right? All right, extend the legs forward, shake it out one more time. Arms reach back one last time. And then hug those knees into your chest. I want you to prepare for Shavasana right now. If there's anything else you need to do, I want you to do it. That could be like doing an inversion. I don't know, it could be a pose we didn't do, maybe another twist. And then set yourself up once you've done that. So you can bring the soles of the feet together, knees wide, super intense again. You can bring your blocks underneath you if you do that, or just maybe extend your legs forward and outward into starfish pose, right? I have socks on today. Maybe put socks on, maybe cover yourself with a blanket. And then close your eyes and come back to your regular organic breath. So you don't have to try to breathe in and out through your nose. Just breathe organically. Be here in stillness and quietness just for a couple minutes. Keep the timer going here. So this is where you get to check in just one more time. Check in with your mind, check in with your body. Be an observer of your thoughts. Try not to attach to any of them. Just let them go by like clouds. About another minute here. So again, just take a little double check in and check to see that you're softening in, that your tongue is soft, your eyes are soft in the eye sockets, you know, that your shoulders are relaxed, that your hips feel soft. Your breath might be quiet now. To bring your attention back to your physical body. You need to move your fingers and your toes. So just acknowledging our little extremities here. You can rotate the wrists, rotate the ankles around. Bring the feet back together, or maybe extend them if you were in Supta Baddha Konasana. Reach the arms back. Point the toes, spread the hands. Rotate the wrists, maybe yawn. Drive your knees into your chest. Slowly rocking to your right side. Pause, support yourself with your arm. Slow transitions, just no hurry. Fingertips on the mat. Come all the way up. Come back into your seated position. And you can end where we began, by placing the palms on top of each other, thumbs touching each other, Anjali Mudra. And just get a sensation. When we practice, we try to quiet the mind. We're never not going to be able to think. We'll always have thoughts coming in and out. It's just a matter of how we react to them. But it gives us a moment to then listen to our heart, right? Our higher self, our intuition, our intuitive center is our heart. And that's where that little flame of fire lives. Okay. So honor that space in your heart today. It's always there for you, the peaceful center. If you ever have anything you need to ask, you know, anything you need kind of from the universe, if you will, you just have to bring it to your heart. Your heart will sort of help you lead the way. Okay. If you have anything to ask your heart today, go ahead and do that. And bring your palms together to your heart center. Anjali Mudra. Anjali means heart. So bowing to your heart with gratitude. Cultivating that peace within, cultivating that inner fire for transformation. So honor this practice today. Honor yourself, your whole self. Honor each other and the practice of yoga. Now thumbs to the center of our forehead. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale. Namaste. Thank you everyone for joining me today for this practice on Tapas. And have a blessed day.